Hey there, I'm Eli Strawman, a performance coach and the founder of SuccessStarterThan.com. Now, there are many benefits of teaching mental skills to kids. And so, what I want to do before we get into the strategies that you can use to apply sports psychology techniques to your young athlete is to get into some of the main benefits that can be expected from the work. And one is going to be self confidence. The earlier an athlete understands confidence, the better. Now, what do I mean by understanding confidence? Well, confidence is a skill that needs to be developed. But in order to do so, you need to understand where confidence is going to come from and how it can be applied and controlled. One of the most dangerous places to find yourself in as an athlete, and for young athletes to find themselves in, is having confidence be dictated completely by external factors. Now, of course, external factors are going to influence their confidence, but they cannot control their confidence fully, and they should not control their confidence fully. Because if that happens, confidence becomes very fragile. Right? This is where we see the confidence going up and down if they make mistakes. By learning mental skills, young athletes are going to gain a better understanding of their confidence and trust in themselves more as they get older. Another benefit is more enjoyment in their sport. Now, I was talking to a young athlete just the other day who I was working with who was considering not playing sports anymore. Now, this was very sad because I knew how much he loved sports, no matter what sport it was. The reason he didn't want to play involved the intense feelings of anxiety he experienced while performing. This highlights one of the main benefits of sports psychology for kids. It gives them the opportunity to enjoy their sport more. When we are able to remove anxiety, fear, and the need to be perfect, kids find themselves simply playing to play once again. Now that's fun. And when that happens, their level of play tends to go up as well because they are enjoying themselves and they're just playing more freely again. Another benefit is better emotional control. No athlete wants their emotions to get the best of them, no matter how old they are. And no parent wants to see their kid losing their composure because of a mistake or, being really upset with himself because of a bad game. Mental skills will help your young athlete manage their emotions better. In fact, this is one of the main reasons why I'm working with a lot of the young athletes I'm working with right now, to help them manage themselves after making a mistake. After making mistakes, they begin to get upset with themselves and they lose control over their emotions. And so we work on implementing tools to manage their reactions so they can let go of those mistakes and play better as the game moves on and also enjoy themselves more. And then another benefit is an edge over the competition. Now, this benefit is going to cover a broad range of benefits that can be expected from sports psychology in general, all under the umbrella of performance improvement. As your young athlete gains valuable mental skills, their physical skills are also going to improve. They will understand how to control themselves after a mistake, how to play with more confidence, how to center their focus, and much more. Now, that gives them a huge advantage over their competition because as they get older, they will already have a set of skills that many athletes never obtain, or if they do obtain them, they come much later in their life. So now let's get into some sports psychology strategies for your young athlete. So strategy number one is to teach them the importance of their thoughts. With mental coaching, an enormous amount of focus is placed on understanding and managing thoughts. This is because of the relationship between thoughts and feelings. Now, as a young athlete thinks worrisome thoughts, anxiety increases and their confidence is going to decrease. This is disastrous during or before games, right? The same principle is going to apply for fearful, perfectionist, or just really any other unhelpful negative forms of thinking. They drive unhelpful and negative emotions. Therefore, it's crucial for young athletes to control what they're thinking. Now, we begin with awareness. If an athlete is not aware of their thoughts, there's little hope to change them because they don't understand what kind of thoughts they're having. So we must begin with understanding what thought patterns the young athlete currently has and how those thoughts are impacting how they feel. From there, we can begin to think about some more helpful thoughts and work on implementing them on a regular basis. Now, how can you use this concept with your young athlete? What you can do is take them through a very simple exercise. So step number one, you want to have them write down what kinds of thoughts they have before, during, and then also after games. And then step two, you want to go through and ask them if each thought is helpful, meaning does it increase their confidence, or is it hurtful and causes them to feel anxious, fearful, or etc. Step three is you want to remove all the unhelpful thoughts from the list and replace them with more positive and productive ones. Now for step four, you should have a list of positive thoughts created. Review them with your young athlete each day and have them read the list to themselves out loud. And then strategy number two is to show them the power of visualization. A valuable skill for any athlete at any age is visualization. This is the practice of mentally rehearsing skills in your mind. There are many different ways visualization can be applied to sports, where an athlete can visualize to improve their confidence, an athlete can visualize to manage injuries, to improve their performance under pressure, and just a lot of different ways that visualization can be used. To use this technique with kids, you can have them either write or explain to you what happens when they play well. Now, as they do this, they will naturally create a scene in their mind. Once they are comfortable with explaining it like that, have them close their eyes and mentally rehearse themselves playing. A great way that this can be applied to training is to pause between reps and have the athlete visualize themselves for just one brief moment. For example, let's say you are throwing batting practice to your young athlete. Before each pitch, or before every 5 pitches, let's say, have them close their eyes and imagine themselves hitting a nice line drive back up the middle of the cage. This helps to teach them the power of visualization and the importance of using it on a consistent basis. And then strategy number 3 is to train them to control their breathing. As simple as it is, breathing correctly has a huge impact on performance. Breath can calm nervousness, it can improve focus, and it can make the athlete feel more confident. But the skill of controlling breathing must be developed, especially in younger athletes. Breathing is a natural process, and since it is natural, we don't often give it a whole lot of attention throughout the day. The same is true when an athlete is performing. Now, there are many other things going on that it causes it to be very natural to overlook the process of breathing. But breathing is your base, right? It's the young athlete's base that's going to dictate so much in terms of their emotions and in terms of their focus. So it really does deserve attention. But more than attention, it deserves training. Now, I'm sure every young athlete has been told to take a deep breath. That's great, but what I'm talking about gets even more specific and technical than that. Now, I've found 2 main benefits to controlling breathing in sports. One is the commonly known effect of calming you down and slowing down your heart rate. But in addition to that, I've also found controlling your breath helps with focus. This is because as you turn your attention onto your breath, you remove it from external factors that are causing you to become distracted, or worse, anxious and fearful. An easy way that you can help your young athlete control their breathing is through a breathing exercise. Now, I'm a huge fan of mindfulness meditation, and I recommend it to all the athletes that I work with. But sometimes it can be difficult for young athletes to use. And so if you don't want to make use of mindfulness meditation quite yet, a good substitute is count breathing. Here are the steps for making use of a good count breathing practice for your young athlete. Step number 1 is just have them sit into a comfortable position in a chair with their back straight. Then step 2, have them close their eyes and take a few deep breaths, just getting themselves relaxed. Step 3 is begin the count breathing. Breathe in for a count of 5 and breathe out for a count of 10. Step 4 is after a few minutes, have them open their eyes and they're finished. This practice helps so much because the count breathing can then be transferred into games. Whether right before the game starts or during a moment of feeling anxiety during the game, the athlete can return to the count breathing that they've grown comfortable with since they've been practicing it. Now, sports psychology for kids is just as important as sports psychology for older athletes. The mental skills the young athlete will learn will help them improve their mental health along with increasing their performance as they get older. Now, the best and most effective way to build mental skills in youth athletes is one-on-one mental coaching. And so if you're interested in learning more about mental coaching for your young athlete, please click on the link in the description below. Another option I have is the Mentally Tough Kid course. With this self-paced course, your young athlete will learn all the mental training and sports psychology tools they need to build mental toughness. So I've also linked that in the description below as well, so you can go ahead and click on that to learn more about the Mentally Tough Kid course. Now, whether or not you use one-on-one coaching or the Mentally Tough Kid course, you still want to make sure that you are using strategies to help your young athlete build mental skills. So I really recommend you applying the strategies that we talked about, maybe choosing 1 or 2 and really get them started and introduced to the idea of training their mindset. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on building mental toughness in your young athlete. And speaking of building mental toughness, I've linked another video right here that goes into detail on the different skills that you can use to help build mental toughness in your kid. So go ahead and click on that to learn how to build mental toughness in your young athlete.